Okay, in this quick video I'm just going to show you a few simple Kung Fu moves using the guard, the hands, okay, very similar to a Wing Chun kind of system method of putting the hands in front as a guard like this, with one hand in front and one hand slightly further back, for a back guard and a front guard. And I'm going to explain the use of the foot placement when working in a straight line. We're going to keep both hands in the front, in the centre line here, in the centre. And when you're walking, sometimes taking small steps, you'll notice me, sometimes when I put my heel up like this, on the heel, when I'm stepping, and the reason for that, I'm going to show you here and explain just very briefly to you as we walk. We're taking small steps, okay? When I put my front foot like this, okay, bending on the back leg here, so the back leg here, when I step out like this, slightly, I'll have two hands in front like this. And you'll notice when I'm walking and turning, but when I step, I don't go flat, like this, flat. Sometimes I'll put my heel out first. And the reason for that is because there's a bit of a guard there where I can step onto the opponent's foot. That might sound funny to some people. As you're walking forward like this, your hands in front like this, as you slide forward with that heel sleeve, you put it out, you know, and you've got the weight on the back of it anyway, a little bit. The hands in front here, either like this or like this. Elbows bent, not reached out too much. I'm stepping out, so that's a good guard there. When I'm walking forward in a straight line also, make sure you've got a bit of a line between both your legs. Don't be standing like you're balancing. Have a little bit of base out like that as you step. Your shoulders won't always be front on, they may be slightly turned sometimes, like this. Relax your hands, and as you go in, these hands are in front like a guard. So you can use your forearms and your hands and your palms to face. And if any strikes come to hit you, you can protect on that guarding line there. So I can catch, I can grab someone's arm if I wish to, I can strike. So you see these kind of techniques in Wing Chun and also in things like Bagua as well as Tai Chi and other systems too, like Xing Yi Chuan, where you're working on a straight line. But I'm just giving you a few basic principles there. As I walk in, sometimes I'll be stepping out like this, the heel, the toes up, and going forward, and that's the reason, so I can get that as a guard. You can lift it to kick if you wish to also. The hands are there for guarding, you've got the forearms, one protecting behind and one in front. I can come over, block and strike, I wish to, I can block high, hit low, I can hit with my palms, and as I'm going, see, I do that. And sometimes I may turn, as I said, turn my foot slightly in too, with the knee guarding to protect my groin. You don't want to go out this way, so you're like this straight, or sometimes turning. And also do remember, okay, don't have your leg always straight like this, because someone can kick that and break your leg. You want to bend both your knees usually, with a good strong guard. Bring your knees inwardly more. You find a lot of this in Wing Chun. I'm just showing you some simple concepts you can work into your fighting and training methods, basic Kung Fu concepts. So the upper guard on the centre line with the hands, straight walking, sometimes turning that in, but we're going straight out forward as we're walking. See, as I'm coming in, I can do that. Or I can come in and walk. See, as I do that, this is here, see? So when I'm there, if that was someone's foot, I could step onto someone's foot, trap them just for that moment to come in. And use your knee sometimes to come in when you put your foot flat to guard against the person's legs. This is for close range combat, okay? There. And then remember to turn when you need to turn also with your knees and keep your feet flat most of the time. Just a few concepts, alright, to remember. You can come with a stepping motion, stepping or sliding into it slightly. You can do low kicks also, and to midsection, different kinds of kicks too. Working it, but that's the reason, okay, if you've ever seen me doing that with my heel there, with the toes up, that's the reason for doing that, okay? So I'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining me for this simple Kung Fu lesson, some concepts and techniques here in this special location. Thanks for watching. one more tip, okay, one more thing I want to say is when you do step out like that with your front foot, with the toes pointed up and you're on the heel of the foot, and then you have your front foot placed with the heel of the foot touching the floor, touching the ground, and then your toes pointed up. Don't step too far. And another tip I want to point out on that, okay, is if you have your foot flat, it's always a chance for the opponent to step on that foot too. So I'm not giving you the advice saying that you should always step like that. No, it's just another thing to keep in mind. It's a good guard because your foot's facing up, facing front ways. You've got the heel, you've got the sole kind of pointed forward, you know. So it's more like it's a very defensive and offensive kind of way of stepping. So just reminding you, okay, that you know, it's another way you can defensively stand and step when you're intercepting, when you're coming in. So where I've always talked about in the past to you, I've always talked to you about using your hands to block, to come in with a tight guard, you know, using your hands, your forearms, and I've always also spoke to you about the need for being flat-footed, rooted stanced, sometimes light on the toes, but usually flat-footed. And I've also talked to you about bending your knees and using your knees as a guard when you're coming in, trapping as well with your lower gates and stuff. This is another thing here. So using the feet as an offensive, defensive guard, still maintaining that high guard. Remember, these concepts are mostly, as I say, from Wing Chun, as I say. You can find them in Tai Chi, as I say, too, Tai Chi and Bagua and different systems, okay? So that's what I'm just basically saying to you there. Having the feet flat on the floor, you know, everything really, upper and lower body. You always have your open areas. I mean, you're always vulnerable in some ways, but it's just training your imagination, and then through the physical of the body training. If your foot's flat on the floor, it's a chance for your opponent to step on your feet. Likewise, with your toes up, it can also be people could attack that, they could step. So you need to be able to move fluidly. Remember, traditional martial arts, okay, especially traditional kung fu systems, it's the same thing. You've got to flow. You've got to have the staticness there, the standing motion when you're standing, like as in not moving, static positions, strong stances where you're not moving, you're able to stand strong, you know, with the hard and the soft. But then you've also got to be able to move fluidly and move and change positions and be fluid in your movements too, don't forget. So whether it be big movements or small movements, the fluidity and the ability to change you know, the structure and be able to flow and adapt is very, very important. But the only way you're going to be able to change and adapt to your opponent first is by being able to have that good coordination and control of your own body. So thanks for watching this, and I'll see you again soon. More lessons to come.